Hello everyone, my name is Felipe Barbosa dos Santos and I'm gonna talk about the paper selection of line of action for offensive operation of Brazilian Marines using the PrOPPAGA method. The authors of the article is me, Felipe Barbosa dos Santos, and Professor Marcos dos Santos. To present the article, we're gonna follow these contents. We're gonna do an introduction, description of the problem, talk about the PrOPPAGA method, expose a solution proposed and the results, and after a conclusion. So, first of all, we need to know that the military planning process is a tool that aims to aid the commander of the military unit in the formulation and choice of which action plan to adopt. The commander and his staff follow a sequence of 3 stages: critical, continuous, and flexible, subdivided into phases where they've developed specific activities. The focus of this work is the phase comparison of line of actions, where it is presented to the commander several lines of action so that together with the staff of the unit, they can compare them to decide which of the lines of action will be adopted during operation. To make this comparison, we will use the PrOPPAGA method, which is an aggregation and synthesis method. The problem shown in the article consists on the task of conquering 2 elevations on the ground, target A and target B, from a sheltered initial position, which will provide the commotion necessary for the continuity of the mission. The commander has 3 marine companies, each composed of 3 platoons of marines. Okay. The first line of action suggests attacking simultaneously with 2 companies. Okay. A company to the south to conquer the target A, and another company to the north to conquer the target B, keeping a company in reserve. Okay, and the second line of action suggests attacking simultaneously with 2 companies. Okay, but a company with 4 platoons to the south to successively conquer the target A and after the target B, and another company to the north performing a limited attack to fix the enemy in the target B, keeping in reserve a company with 2 platoons. The set of criteria used in this decision making is terrain, enemy device, possibilities of the enemy, or device, and estimates. And the method you're gonna use is PrOPPAGA. That means priority observed from the presumption of Gaussian attitude of the alternatives. So the PrOPPAGA is a aggregation and synthesis method. So it means that they use this kind of matrix where we have the set of criteria. For each criterion, we're gonna have a weighted, and you have the set of alternatives. For each alternative in each criterion, we're gonna have an attribute, and this attribute with the weight of the criterion we give us a final value that is a cardinality that we're gonna use to compare the alternatives. So aggregation and synthesis methods differ each other by the way of we're gonna have this weight and how we're gonna normalize these attributes. Okay, so we're gonna see how the PrOPPAGA do these 2 things: how we attribute how we assign the weight, and how we normalize these attributes of alternatives. And the steps of the PrOPPAGA method is we need to define the criteria, sort the criteria by importance, I showed here in an example, and assign scores and weight for each criterion. Okay, And how we're gonna do this? We're gonna do this first defining the score maximum, and the score maximum is defined by depends on the number of criteria. Okay, so if we have um, 7 or less criterion, the score maximum will be 7. If we have more than 7 criteria, the score maximum will be the number of criteria. Okay, so once defined the score maximum, uh, the most important criterion will receive it, this score. Okay, and the others will receive score according to the importance they received. So important to note that it's possible to have two scores equal, and important to note as well that we can have gaps of scores. So after defining the scores, we assign the weighting uh, based on a weighted average. So here, for example, we have 27 of as total of scores. So the most important criterion will be received 7 over 27. Then here we have 6 over 27, 5 over 27, 3 over 27. Okay. After that, we're gonna take the alternatives. So we're gonna have the decision matrix with the performance of each alternative in each criterion. And then we're gonna have the normalization, and where we're gonna take these the performance of each alternative. So we're gonna have, for example, for each criterion, we have the performance of each alternative here on this axis. So we're gonna have the a mean for the set of alternatives and a standard deviation, and we're gonna have a Gaussian curve here, okay, based on this mean and the standard deviation of the alternatives, okay, and the normalization will occur calculating this area Pij here that we know that is solved by this equation. Despite this aspect, we know that it's simple to solve this with help of a electronic spreadsheet or a computational tool. Okay, and finally we're gonna have the aggregation. Once we have the weight of each criterion and the normalization of the each performance, and we're gonna have this final value for each alternative, and it will be used to compare alternatives. Okay, so in the problem exposed in the paper, we have 5 criterion. Okay, and so the maximum score is 7. They was sorting by importance and have the scores assigned and the weight calculated based on these scores. Okay, but each criterion has several sub criteria. Okay, and the same way inside the criterion we have the scores. Okay, here, and was calculate a weight, and after a global weight. So and how how each sub-criterion will contribute to the solution, to the final solution. Okay. And the decision matrix, we have the performance of each line of action for each sub-criterion here, and then we calculate the mean and the standard deviation for each sub-criterion, and after that we do the normalization using the Gaussian presumption. Okay, and after that we have the aggregation, where we see that the line of action 1 is better than line of action 2. Okay, so as a conclusion, we can say that line of action 1 is better than line of action 2. This conclusion contributes to society by subsidizing in a structured way the decision of the commander, giving him confidence with his subordinate, and consequently improving the provision of the staff. Okay, the PrOPPAGA method was initially proposed to be used to assist in problems with many alternatives. However, its application in a problem with only 2 alternatives proved effective, and giving the method one more application option. And a free computational tool for applying the method is available in this website, and the tool is intuitive and allows the application of PrOPPAGA even by those who may not know the algorithm of the method. Okay, so is this. Thanks for your attention. Bye bye.